quite a good artist.
Was she a draftswoman or a fine artist?
No, she was a draftswoman.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. So which university did you attend?
Cape Town.
Cape Town University.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're an alumni of UCT.
Sorry?
So I'm saying you're an alumni of University of Cape Town.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right. So when you, after attending Cape Town, did you practice in South Africa for some time, or you came back straight?
I came back here, practiced with a big firm called Pallet and Price.
All right.
They had a quality survey department of 4 or 5 quantity surveyors, a project manager, the whole setup, and about, 10 architects.
Wow.
Tony Will Smith was there.
That's quite a big office. Do you remember which years those were?
Yeah, I'll be 55.
55, thereabouts.
I worked from 55 till 30, about 4 or 5 years with Pallet and Price, and then started on my own.
Oh.
But I also did 6 months in England with Tripe and Wakeham. It was a huge commercial firm.
Oh, that's good.
In Cape Town, in London.
London as well. All right. That's good. So in terms of your firm, you started by going as a solo architect, or you went into a partnership, or?
No, I went into a partnership with a guy called David Evans, which was Clinton and Evans.
Oh, Clinton Evans. All right. So that was...
He died. He was the partner in Malawi, full on 50-50. And then it got so complicated, we split up. But we always stayed together. He had an aeroplane. He used to commute between here and there all the time.
All right. So what was it like in the 60s, in your early years of practice, in terms of the type of commissions you were getting? Were they government, private sector?
Yeah, they were 90% private sector, but then you throw the Reserve Bank into it.
All right.
That tips it one way, but most of Jamison Avenue, or half of it, is done by me. The Century House, the CFX.
Or those were all private sector. But would you remember your first project?
Yeah, I gave them to Michael here.
Oh.
The initial project was a shed in the industrial site called Twined Cordage. It's still there.
All right.
But it's just a shed.
No,
so it's not very distinctive.
Okay.
And then I did Radio Limited, which was the only project at the time in the country.
Is it?
You were in Harare.
All right.
And then with that, we were sort of running, was Farouk Oil Refinery.
In Mutare.
In Mutare, yeah.
Okay. Then in terms of your design ideas, I mean, we now know Mike Clinton from the buildings which you have done along Samora, but in terms of your early philosophy, were you always pushing for the extensive use of glass, or did you change at some point?
It just grew into me.
No.
Actually, there were several buildings that had problems, structural problems.
All right.
And they used bricks, and they didn't tie them to the structure, and they fell apart and had to be rebuilt in First Street and Jamison Avenue in those days.
All right. So it grew into you, then started experimenting with glass.
I went on several trips overseas.
To study.
I went to the American Institute of Architects twice as a government representative.
All right. Okay.
And you found glass.
Sorry?
You found glass was a better material to work with.
It doesn't leak. It breaks if somebody throws a stone at it.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be a more satisfactory one.
Okay.
Like Livingston House leaks like a sieve.
Okay.
I'm sure anybody will tell you that. I didn't do it. Incidentally, it was designed by a London architect and supervised by Cathcart.
All right.
So with glass, you have
Glass
to have
has got a
steel-
double skin. First of all, it serves the insulation problem, and it solves the leaking problem.
But with glass, you have to have a steel framework for it.
Yeah, you've got a framework of sorts. Yeah.
Then in terms of the use of glass and our local environment, how did you balance out the issue of the thermal comfort you wanted to?
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, sorry. I meant in terms of the use of glass and the hot temperatures this side.
Yeah.
How did you balance out the aspect of the thermal control?
We had air conditioning. Most of it, we were very advanced. We had a big central plant,
All right.
and used that. So you balance them out, as you say.
All right.
It was quite in its infancy way back then.
Oh, at that time, yeah. Then you mentioned you started in the late 50s, then early 60s you had started on your own. How did 1965 impact the construction industry in the country? Was there a boom post 1965?
Yeah, there was a slump followed by a boom.
Oh,
There was a slump in the early 50s.
all right.
It was really bad. When I did radio limits, as I repeat myself, it was the only project in the place.
Oh,
And even then it suddenly grew, and then it boomed all the way up to, I don't know, 82, 83, 84, 85. That was a real peak.
all right. So maybe before we get to 85, I'm interested in the 1979-80 period, that transition. How did it affect architecture?
Quite badly.
All right. Things went down for...
Well, the firms were cut down, and there were quite a lot of firms then, there probably are now, probably more now, because now everybody works from the kitchen sink,
Yeah. All right. So that time there was a slump, but your firm, you kept on running.
Yeah, the slump was, the very bad slump was somewhere prior to independence, and then it boomed. I mean, the first 3 or 4 years there, there were architects springing up everywhere,
Is it?
mostly imported. They came sort of migratory, came in, opened an office, got one big job and retired.
Oh,
That sort of thing.
I see.
But the big jobs in those days were not really big jobs.
All right. So do you remember any of your first, say, big government project in the 80s?
Sorry?
Your first multi-story project in the early 80s?
I remember quite a few of them.
No, that's all right. Okay, we can get into the specific buildings now.
Let's see, you can check what it's worth.
Perfect. No, that's all right.
It's only till about 75-ish,
Oh, all right.
75, 85.
Also, it's the list of all works which you actually did.
Yeah, those are the built.
Wow. This is quite a bit. I didn't know you did Trotbeck.
Hey?
I'm realizing there's Trotbeck here. I knew about Caribbean Bay, but Trotbeck, I didn't know you did that as well.
Which one?
Trotbeck in Nyanga.
Oh, Trotbeck.
Yes.
Yeah, I did all the bottom. It's all the bedrooms at the bottom of Trotbeck.
Oh, all
You know,
right.
they're sort of semi-underground.
Yes, overlooking the water.
You get a big half moon, yeah. And all the flats, those blue swallow things.
Oh, this is beautiful. All right, maybe just coming through to the famous buildings. The Reserve Bank. Articles have been written about concepts for the Reserve Bank. What was your concept for the Reserve Bank? So I was saying the Reserve Bank.
Yeah.
What was the concept? What was the main idea behind the Reserve Bank?
It was given to me, the architect there, the new governor of the bank, I call him number one because the number four didn't. I knew him as a person, but I didn't get the job from him. It came from the building department.
All right.
In fact, a guy called Chuck Connolly in Bulawayo, you might have heard of him. He was my sort of guy that made everything jump.
All right.
And the project was started at $100,000 budget. $100,000 budget.
Wow. At that time, it was enough for such a big building.
No, the building was started with about 5 stories.
All right.
And then suddenly there was a big jump of about 5 stories more. So one day I had a 5-story building, the next day I had a 10-story building, and the next time I got there it was a 22-story building. It had to be the highest building
in the country.
And nothing will ever be, well, that governor said that to me personally.
I think it's still true to today. It's still the highest building.
Yes, even the one down in the bottom end of town there.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't get up.
They stuck things on top to try and get it there, but they couldn't. The building bylaws wouldn't let them go there.
All right. So around that period, Samora Machel, when we had that big building, the other buildings they've been done. Your other buildings, the Megawatt, the CFX. Karigamombe, they've been done at that time.
CFX, no.
So the Zimbabwean was among the first multi-story structures to come up.
Yeah, our mutual, the Costain were building, and there was a shortage of builders. We had cranes and things to get the building moving.
All right.
So we did. The Reserve Bank is the last building I built.
All right.
Except for the British High Commission.
Oh,
I didn't
Mount
design
Pleasant.
it. They designed it in London. It's meant to be typically African.
All right.
Anything more un-African you couldn't find.
I see. All right.
That's certainly not African. Looks like a bloody hanger or something.
Okay.
So
But I had to supervise it.
for Reserve Bank, who was the main contractor? For the Reserve Bank, who was the main contractor?
So
Okay.
Oh, Cisco. All right.
they did a good job there.
Yeah, they did. Who were the main contractors at that time? Was Costain a big contractor at that
Well,
time?
Costain probably did quite a lot, about half, I would say. They were the first guys to ever come here.
All right.
It was Costain's girlfriend's company. We didn't put that in the paper. I don't know whether he's still alive, I have no idea.
All right.
It was the Costain house, the one down where the cock door used to be.
Oh, all right.
If you know where that is, I'm sure.
Then in terms of among your other architects at that time, who were some architects whom you admired during that era, where there was a boom?
Well, there were quite a lot of architects then, and there are quite a lot of architects now. I mean, it's just a change of regime and puts different people in power.
All right.
So there were lots of, as I say, there were lots of one-man bands.
Oh, all right.
Building flats in the avenues, all those awful big flats. You know the ones I mean. Not some are okay, I think, but most of them were dreadful, all plaster and paint.
That's true.
No sense of design whatsoever. Those are the guys who came and went.
That's correct. Which one is your best buildings? Among your buildings, which building would you say this is my best building and why?
I would have thought I used to like Radio Limited because in 49 they were all low-rise buildings.
All right.
Except for that Costain one, which was the name escapes me. But that was in the middle. But these were flats that we built.
Oh, these are residential. All right, it's quite extensive. Now it's it's making sense now. Now that I'm seeing some of these things, I used to wonder who was the architect, but now it's clear.
And I quite enjoy what the original golf club Royal Harare was, but they had a budget of 70,000, and a guy called Tony Hawke stymied it because the tenders came in at 72,000, and he stopped the job, and they decided to keep the job and just leave bits off. So the building was built without the front,
All right.
And we're outside, and it looks like a petrol station. It's only now been finished as a proper building.
Is there? Yeah. All right. Are there any questions which are specific to?
A lot of your apartment buildings are quite angular and have these sort of angular balconies. What was your idea behind that?
Which ones were you talking about? Just go back to
Clouds.
there's Warwick House. I don't know what it's called now. That's Warwick House.
Oh yeah.
Quite angular, and then there was
That was a little mini bloom in Rhodesia
It's
leaves.
the same one, yes. But you can still see the angles, even at the OK in Kwekwe. Is it Kwekwe, right? Yeah, you see it as these walls coming up.
and these are
Then
it's all very
suspended.
geometric.
That's a long time ago, eh?
That looks very modern.
Very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah.
But still, that could be designed today.
Kilani Heights, is this in Malawi?
No, these are all
Also
in
this Harare.
all in the avenues.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's in North Avenue or the top of the avenue.
Oh, I didn't know you did Chitungu is a shopping complex.
Yeah. Oh, we did lots of Westgate.
All right.
Chitungu,
Oh, you actually did Westgate as well.
yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, this one. I always used to wonder about these slants in
That's
the
in Kwekwe, isn't it?
Kwekwe, yes.
Yeah.
This one is in Kwekwe. And then the OK Bazaar, I remember this one.
I don't think it exists anymore.
I think it's been modified. Yeah. This one is okay, in Shawane, Southerton.
In Chiboni,
Yeah.
it's this one.
Or for Mashabani mine.
Yeah.
Or
That was the tallest building in Africa at one stage
is it?
when we built it. It's an engineering project. You know, it's lots of empty floors that go up because you have wheels. You have one toilet, one floor. Well, one single toilet, multi-usage because it's mostly been. That took for a long time.
That was Shibani Mine.
Yeah, but it's not no longer one that doesn't seem.
And I think they've converted it now. That complex is now for student accommodation because there's a university
Okay.
close by. Yeah, that old barn, I think I saw something along those lines
It's
sometime.
quite a nice job.
So, Mike, we also saw your hand in the hospitality industry. You did a lot of hotels. And I think one that stands out, maybe not just one, is Kingdom Hotel. You did Kingdom Hotel, right?
Yeah,
Well, what was the idea behind Kingdom Hotel?
the one with the.
Yes, those themes and...
That was another one. It was designed in Joburg. They had the entrance in the wrong place. They never even came to the site.
All right.
They sent me a sketch plan and said, build it.
Oh.
I had to do the working drawings, but that's what we want. So I said, do you really want the entrance and the servitude at the back? And they said, oh dear, we didn't notice that, we didn't see the site.
All right.
You don't put it in there, don't worry about it.
I see. Then you also did Caribbean Bay.
At the Caribbean Bay, I did Victoria Falls Hotel, the original one.
Oh.
I did 50% of it.
Is
It
it?
was a single-story building.
All right.
You were too young to see it.
Yeah, I did.
It was a single-story building, and it has, it was main block and 2 wings,
All right.
and that's us all. We had to do the rest. I did it for the railways.
All right. Oh, that's good. That's good. So the...
I'm quite proud of it. It's quite nice. Our typical building.
All right. Then on this London building, you know this one?
That's a London
yes.
building.
Where's this one, by the way? I'm
Gee, we did a sketch plan for that forever.
Done in the Central City.
Travel Center, I know it is. All right.